while we're waiting, just 1 or 2 more minutes, anyone want to share some fun end of year thing they're doing in their class?
Hi.
Hey.
Hi, Kate. Sorry, I just joined. Last year we did memory books with the book creator. I wanted to do that again this year. That was fun.
Yeah, book creator is really fun. That's one of the tools we're going to show today.
Yeah, last year I had all these pictures from like the actual time we were together. So I'm just a little, apprehensive about, well, what would our memories be this year? Like pictures of our Google, it's just that's why I'm here to gather some more ideas.
I think they could totally do it. They could draw each other or add images.
We haven't started an end of the year projects yet because we're working on our virtual open house presentations. So
yeah, so much to do during this time.
Yes.
All right, well, I guess I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to show a couple ideas, and then Miranda and Kate are also going to share. So we're each doing like 10 minutes. So the ones that I chose to do are YouTube-inspired ideas for the classroom, and they totally come from Matt Miller. He's the EdTech superstar. And he has a blog post that actually has 8 YouTube-inspired classroom videos, and I linked all of them in here, and we'll share this presentation in the chat too. And I linked his specific articles too for the 2 ideas, which I'm going to talk about, which is making a top 10 video or also making an unboxing video. And I'm going to focus more on the top 10 since it's a lot easier to do and it's also fun. So about the top 10 video on Flipgrid, it doesn't have to be top 10, right? It could be top 3, top 5, top 20, depending on what topic you choose. And maybe you might show some videos of like kind of talk show style, like top 10 list to start. But I made a little example. I'm not going to show the whole thing because I don't have much time, but basically you do it in Flipgrid because the tools are really easy to do. So my topic was...
Hi guys, I'm Janie, and now the remote
top 5 things about remote learning, and so I'm just going to kind of skip through, but you can see I use like this whiteboard feature where you have half the screen whiteboard, and then you could include yourself too, and you could add text or pictures. Number 4 was pajamas every day, right? Working from home, remote learning. Travel time is like 10 seconds now instead of driving an hour to work. Eating my own like homemade food instead of eating at McDonald's or whatever. Number 1 was cat cuddles, right? Energizing breaks. So anyway, your students can add pictures or emojis and stuff like that, and it's super fun. Let me see, can I go forward? Whoopsie. There we go. Why do this activity? It's good for retrieval practice. Like, what did you do this year? Or you also have to rank things like curation. Which one's going to make the list? Which ones didn't make the list? And why not? And what are some that almost made the list, but you could only include 3, for example? So there's a lot of critical thinking that goes with that. And they're creating something, and it's super fun. Right? And they also have to summarize, maybe just show in a few words on each of the slides. See, here's some ideas, and there's, I'm sure, a lot more on Matt Miller's blog. But it could be anything that you learned. 5 things you learned this year. Tips for next year's students. Who's your favorite book characters? Top 5. Healthy foods. The best moments in the book you just read, right? Your favorite moments, top 10 tech tools, or, maybe you're learning another language. What are the top 5 most useful phrases? It could be a lot of possibilities. And so the way you do this activity, you just create a Flipgrid post for your students first. And then once you choose a topic, they'll brainstorm, they have to make their list. Remember, whatever it is they need to remember, 3 things you learned about math or anything. And then they record their video, and then they can watch each other's videos and reply. So what it looks like in Flipgrid, here's the topic my teacher shared with me, and I said include an introduction, right? When they
Excuse me,
watch.
Janie?
Yes.
We are not seeing your Flipgrid screen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not used to sharing one tab. Thank you. So this is my Flipgrid assignment. And so students could just go in here and see what did the teacher say I needed, right? Just like any of their favorite YouTubers, they have to be like, hey, I'm Janie, and say a catchphrase if they want or whatever. And then they're gonna talk about all of their selections, make sure they say goodbye, something, you know, like a lot of YouTubers say, add what your favorite was in the comments or something, right? They could totally do something like that. And then, so once they decide to record, this is the student view here, even before they start recording, they can go into the effects and go to the whiteboard, and they could choose whatever color board they want. And then they can use this slider to adjust how much of them is in there and how much whiteboard space they need. And then just go back and then maybe set up whatever text it is. So if I click text, I'm gonna set up my title first. So top 10 tech tools, maybe that's my topic. And students can move this around and adjust the size pretty easily. And when they're ready to record, they can just click the record button. So I'd say my introduction, and then I can always pause it. And then while it's paused, I'm gonna delete this and add whatever else I wanna add. Maybe the next, the top 10, right? I'm gonna start with 10. Maybe that tech tool was Pear Deck or something. So I'm going to do a Google search. You know, students could do an image search on their Chromebooks and then find the one they want and then just save the picture. So save image as. And it's gonna look a little bit different on mine because I'm on a PC, but students will get the option to name it. So I'm gonna just call it Pear Deck icon, and then it'll save to their most recent is where they can find it. And on the slide deck, I added a video showing exactly what it looks like on a Chromebook. But anyway, once they're ready, they can go back and then go to the effects and click on photo. And then they'll see the same box, but then once they click on it, they'll see recent. They'll see a similar window, and then they could go to recent. I'm gonna go to downloads. Okay, I have way too many files on here, sorry. Pear Deck, and then open, and then the same thing. So then they could type number 10 was this, and then start recording, right? So that's how they do that. And it's kind of a fun way to rank things, and it's creative and other students get to see it. But probably the most fun thing is the under the effects, the stickers. Like I chose a bunch of stickers because my top 10, one of my top 10 was food, so I looked for food, but maybe I could find some tech stuff in here. Oh, there's only this one technology sticker, but I could use that for my title, for example. Or if I'm, you know, a very shy student, or maybe I'm a funny student, right? I could either cover my whole face with an emoji, or I can add some accessories so I look cool while I'm talking. And that's how you make the Flipgrid top 10. All right, so I'm almost out of time. I have one more minute. So the other activity video I'll show you, I'm sorry, was the unboxing video. And I didn't want to focus on this one because it takes a lot more time. But a lot of students are really into unboxings. Like I watch, you know, unboxing the Cat Lady subscription box. They watch more like toy unboxings. But basically they get to, they could pretend they're a character in a book or a historical character, or maybe they're got a subscription box that's all about math. And then they have to unbox it and talk about each item. And a lot of times you'll want to include a note. I put some directions about The tools, there's different tools you could use for it, but Flipgrid is so easy, and students also have access to Screencastify. But basically, it's a way of summarizing what they learned about a topic in a fun way. Like they could make props and, you know, be silly. And every subscription box has a note in it, and that helps to set the context. So who, you know, where is this box coming from? Who sent it to you? Who are you? What character are you supposed to be? And yeah, so there's a bunch of ideas here and some more tips on you know, when you want to create your own. And the teacher could also do an unboxing. It's a fun way to introduce a unit, for example. And that's my time. Now it's Miranda's time. Let me know in the chat if you have any questions.
Cool. Thanks, Janie. I posted in the chat a link to our presentation, which has all of this information that all three of us are presenting. It's all housed in this one Google slide deck, so you guys can always reference that. So I am going to now present my screen and make sure I can get the right one here. So I'm going to be talking about Book Creator, which is a subscription that the district has until the end of this school year. I haven't gotten official word yet whether or not we're going to be purchasing it for next year. But good news is you can at least do a project, an end of the year project for this school year with it. So let me hit present on this guy. So really quickly, if you're not familiar with Book Creator, what is it? It's a tool, an online tool where students can create books, but there's lots of different media that they can add to the books, right? It's a lot more than just text and pictures. They can add video clips, they can add audio of themselves, they can do drawings, and lots more. Really quickly, to give you an example of a student book. This isn't the Book Creator Yearbook that I'm going to show you guys as the end of the year project, but I just wanted to show you a student example so you can kind of get an idea of what these books look like when they're published online. So here's a student who did a retelling of King Midas. So you can see here she was able to add pictures, both from online and her own pictures, text, format it in a really fun way. She added video, and this was kind of a comic book type template. But just so you guys get the idea, when you publish them online, they become these really kind of professional, nice looking books. So I'm just going to kind of go over the process to create a template, a end of the year kind of yearbook template that you guys can use for your students and distribute to your students, and they would use that template to make their yearbook. I'm going to show you first an example of a template, and actually I think I have it open here already, so we don't have to load it again. Come on, computer. So this is an example of a yearbook template that Book Creator has created, and you guys can, I'll show you how to use it in just a minute here. And these, the teachers of Gates STEAM Night used the Book Creator yearbook template, modified it a little, and distributed it to those students so that they could make their own personalized yearbook. And so what they did is before they pushed out that template to the kids, they added pictures of themselves, made a little personalized message, added some audio recording on there so that every book that the kid, you know, every personalized book that the kid had that content in it for each kid. And then they gave them fields where they were supposed to personalize it with their own content, with a video, with some text, their own pictures. They also added pictures of activities that they had done already there in the template so the kids could refer to them. Right, and then over here again is where the students were supposed to personalize the content with their own stuff. Here's an example of like a word search that they added in there where the kids could use the drawing tools to do the word search right there in their own book, etc. Okay, so now I'm going to show you guys how to log into Book Creator, grab that template and personalize it and push it out to your kids if you guys wanted to use it. So the way to do that is, and all these steps, it's kind of might seem like a lot of steps, but all the steps that I'm going to show you right now we're recording them first of all, and they're outlined in that presentation, that slide deck that I put in the chat for you guys. So you're going to sign into Book Creator with Google, and your kids would also sign into Book Creator the same way. And the very first thing I recommend doing is creating a library. And the way to create a library is to go up here to the 3 lines. It'll take you right to libraries, and you can say create a new library. And I would recommend calling it like 2021 yearbooks, so that all the yearbooks the kids create will be housed in this one library for you to reference. So I'm going to go ahead and say create library. And now here's my library. I'm going to go ahead and click into it to open it. You can see this is supposed to look like a bookshelf. There's nothing on the shelf yet. So what I want to do is now grab that template, that yearbook template. And the way to do that is to go up to this plus new book button. Go over to templates. Again, all these steps are on that slide deck that I posted in the chat. And you'll see right here, they have lots of different fun templates you could use, but they have this fun yearbook template. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that to open it up. Okay, and now I have this yearbook template that I'm going to then set up for my students. So the first thing I would do is go ahead and open this up, and you'll see it has a page there for message from your principal. And if you click over on these little side arrows here, right, they have a page here where you can add pictures of all your students onto the template. And then once I reach the last page, there's only 2 pages in that book, or at least in the template, you have this plus sign here. And this plus sign allows you to add more pages. So I'm going to click on that guy. And you'll see here a ton of different pages that I can choose from. I know it's probably kind of small for you guys, but trust me, they're there. So like this one says teacher message. Maybe I want to record my own personal teacher message for these guys. I'm going to add that page. And maybe I'm going to add another page for pictures. And I'm just going to pick one more just for fun. Let's say, I don't know, this one. Okay, so now I've gone through and I've added all the pages that I want in this yearbook for my students. Then you're going to, my next step I would recommend is to reorder the pages. So I'm going to go up here to pages, and here are all the pages that I added. Maybe I want the message from the teacher as the very first page after the cover, then the message from the principal, and then these subsequent pages. So you can just click and drag these around to reorder them. Okay. So now I have the pages in there that I want. The next thing you want to do is kind of personalize them, or, so here I would add pictures of the students, right? I'm not going to go, because of time, I'm not going to go into too much how to add pictures and media and things like that. If you guys want help with that, you can always contact us. But so I would personalize this here, right? I would go ahead and type in my message to my students. I might go up here to the camera and record a video for my kids and add it all into this book. So now I have all the pages set up as I want them for my students. The last thing that you might be wondering about is, well, how do I get a recording from the principal right onto this template? The best way for that is to add the principal as a collaborator onto the book. So the way to do that, I'm going to go up here back to my books, and you'll see for this library there's an invite code. So I would send the principal a message saying, hey, can you sign into Book Creator and type in this invite code to join my library. Once the principal's in the library, then through this little drop-down menu up here, once the person's in there, you can add them as a co-teacher. And then they'll have editing access to this book. And then you can tell the principal to go in there and go to that page where it asks for a message from the principal, add your video and some text. Okay. So now you have your book, you have all the pages set up the way you want with the message from the teacher, maybe there's release teachers, whatever it is, all the pictures you want in there. And now you need to get your kids to make a copy of this template and start adding their own content. The way to do that is very similar, right? You're going to ask them to log into Book Creator. They're going to join the library using this code. And then when they join the library, they'll see this one book on the bookshelf. They're going to go down here to this little book icon and say copy book. And then it'll make their own copy of this book, and it'll include the message from the principal, from the teacher, all the other pictures and things like that that you've added there. Finally, I guess I should ask real quick, we have 1 minute. Any questions about that?
Is there any way that you can change the pictures of the teachers to something that's a little more accurate?
Yeah, all of that. Thanks. That's a good question. All of this content you can modify, right? So this picture of the teacher, right? That's not me. I'm going to delete it. And then I can just click right there on the camera, take a picture, and use that one and plop it right in there.
How do you
So-
unlock the things that are locked down?
I don't know how do you, oh, okay, thank you.
Right.
You right click on it and then you can unlock it. And that means then it can be moved around. It's kind of nice to have things locked down so that, if you want to keep that there, you don't want the kids moving it around or accidentally deleting it, you can lock it there. Any other questions? Thank you, Janet. That was a good one.
Since the subscription is only until the end of the year, will the students still have access afterward?
Yeah. Great question. Yeah, you can publish these books online, like this one's published online, and we will always have access to these books. Those links stay active and live.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. That's a good question. Okay, like I said, all those instructions, I know that was a lot, are all step-by-step in this slide deck here. And now it's time for Kate Friels. Take it away.
All right, if you have room for one more idea, we're throwing them all at you today. I'm going to present my screen. I'm taking over, Miranda. Okay. And my idea for our end of the year activity is assign my Padlet. So whereas the book that Miranda was sharing is more of a memory book where students are, reflecting on their year and adding photos, this one is more just to collect your friends' signatures. And Padlet is a great way to do that. So let me show you an example here. This one is from a whole district created this Padlet to share. And it's just to show you what a filled out Padlet yearbook looks like. You can see there's lots of congratulations. People can add text, emojis, photos, and it's just this unlimited wall space. You can keep scrolling and scrolling. There's just a ton of stuff. You can add GIFs, and users can sign their name, as in this example here, but most of these ones are anonymous. And that's a setting you can change in Padlet. So a couple people recorded videos here. It makes a really nice keepsake of your year. You can have your friends' photos, videos, and memories shared there. So here's another example, just a little screenshot of one. Well, this is more of just one class. A teacher, Mr. Lardis, created this Padlet and then had each of his students create their own and link to it in his class Padlet. So this is a really nice way to house them all in one place. And your students would all come here to click around to each of their classmates' Padlets and sign them. And so that's what I'm going to show you how to do here. So let me take a jump out of my presentation and head over to Padlet. So when you log into Padlet, you log in with Google, you'll just go to Make a Padlet. And for this yearbook template, I selected the wall layout just so that they're all kind of packed in there together and there's unlimited space. When you first start a Padlet, it'll open up this editor on the right-hand side where you add in your title. So I would just keep it really simple. Ms. Friel's class, yearbooks. And you can add a description if you want, but it appears so small up there that I find most people miss it anyhow. I would just include your instructions another way, maybe in your Google Class assignment is how I'm going to set it up. Then you can customize your wallpaper, your icon, etc. One thing that's important is down at the bottom, you can choose to require approval if you want to make sure that you have to go through and approve any posts before they appear. Now on this one, this is just our class yearbooks. The intention of this one is just for each student to create their own Padlet and link to it here. So I'm not really worried about requiring approval. So I'm going to leave that off. But if you turn that on, then you'll get an email after each person posts and you'll have to approve it before it appears. And you can choose to filter profanity, which will replace bad words with nice emojis. I always like leaving that on just to see if it happens. Once you've set those things up, you click Next, and you're ready to go. To get a link to share, you'll want to close that out and click Share. By default, the privacy will be set to secret, and visitors can write. I recommend changing the privacy from secret to members only. When it's secret, anyone with the link can access it, and students don't have to log in, so they can post anonymously. But when you select members only, it forces a login. Students have to log in to post, and then their name will automatically be tied to their post. I think with things like Yearbook, it's a good idea to just have it be members only. Then you're not worried about students wanting to delete things from their Padlet or students making inappropriate comments on other students' yearbooks. So members only, and then save. Again, that's just from the share settings. So I'll show you once again, just that share, and you click change privacy to select members only. Once you've got it set to members only and visitors can write, you can click to copy that link and share that with your students. They'll be able to come right in and add a link to their Padlet. I've also included on the slide deck here some videos, a couple screencasts I made. On slide 32, there's a screencast that will show your students how to log into Padlet and create their own Padlet, just like I showed you. And then it also includes how they can copy that link and put it in your class Padlet. On slide 33, I put a video showing students how to post on a classmate's Padlet, so how they can add different media. And I want to make sure I show you that right now. Here I've set up my 5th grade yearbook, and a couple of students have already linked to theirs. So this is what your students will see when they go to sign their friend's yearbook. Say I want to sign Tony's yearbook. I just click on this link. It opens Tony's yearbook. And in Padlet, you can double click anywhere on the Padlet to add a post, or you can click the plus sign in the bottom corner. And I would tell my students to, greet the person in the title. So I'm signing Tony's yearbook. Say, hi, Tony. I can write something right here, or I can use the buttons at the bottom to add a different type of media. And what's super cool with Padlet is if they click the 3 dots, they've got all these options. They can record their voice, take a quick picture of themselves. They can even upload a Spotify playlist. If you have, middle school or high school students who maybe use Spotify, they might want to share some music with their friends or upload a GIF. So if I search for summer fun in GIFs, maybe this one is just the perfect GIF to send my friend Tony. So it's a lot of cool things that students can add, and then obviously write a message to him. And there's room for as many posts as they want. One other thing I just want to show is how I've set this up in my Google Classroom assignment. And this is a great way to get your students started. And all of these items are in the slide deck. So you could share an assignment in Google Classroom that includes a video showing your students how to set up their Padlet, a link to your class Padlet that you'll want to make first, so they'll know where to go and add their link, and a little image from one of the slides with some ideas for signing a yearbook. So that's all in one assignment here, and my students can watch the instructions, post their link in the class Padlet, and be ready to go. So again, you can get the videos from the slide deck and some of those signing a yearbook ideas as well. You'll end up with a lot of have a great summer, unless we give them some more ideas, right? Maybe draw a picture, write about a memorable moment you shared together. And there's a last slide with a little image there showing you how to set up that Google Classroom assignment. Now that was a whirlwind of 3 different ideas, and we've got a minute left for any outstanding questions.